Hello! We're back! Yeah, I have a number of new things to look at, so forgive me if I seem a bit distracted, but there's a bunch of new stuff we'll talk about in a second. But hello, we're back after over a month of not doing this. The build streams are back, hooray! If you're on the Discord, you saw the brilliant Return of the Jedi themed thing that I put up. Slugfan, hello! Hello, Joe! Hello, Indieskeep! Hello, everybody on Owncast. That's the thing we're going to talk about in a second. Unfortunately, I have not been able to merge the Owncast chat and the Restream chat. So, point one, we're going out on YouTube, Twitch, and our own Owncast server, which is new. It's a whole Fediverse thing. We'll talk about that in a second. But if you go to operationpuppet.live, you will see this stream, and unfortunately the chat is a whole separate thing. So I haven't embedded the chat into the stream or anything. Everybody who chats on Owncast, I'll just have to relay your messages to the rest of chat. Everybody who's on Twitch and YouTube sees the unified chat. So I'm working on that. It's a thing in process. Also, let me know if you can hear me, because I'm not sure that my mic is going out. Yeah, it looks like it is. Okay. Hopefully you can hear me. Somebody let me know. So, I can hear you. Nice. Excellent. Thank you, Sloot, on Owncast. See? We got people. The Fediverse is strong, and we're going to talk about that in a second. Coffee is also good. I hope everybody had a good holiday. Oh no, your speakers have gone bad, Indieskeep. All right, good. Everybody can hear me. Okay. We got a number of announcements. We got a number of things to deal with. So let's go through them as they come into my head. So we'll start with the sad one. There is some sad news. If you are on the Discord, you know this already. If you are not on the Discord, join the Discord. The links, everything is on operationpuppet.com. Just go to operationpuppet.com. All this stuff is there. We're getting people on the Owncast server. This is great. Hello. So this is a great way because there's a whole bunch of new people now because they're on the Owncast server. So we're going to start out with a very sad announcement, and I'm sorry, Owncast, because you probably don't know anything about this, but our friend and Operation Puppet mod, Scarlett, who is known on YouTube as Purple Cheesecake Zebra, sadly passed away late last year. We only found out a couple of weeks ago on the Discord server, so if you don't know, that's why they're not around anymore, and it's very sad. I don't want to get into the details; those are personal. There is on the Discord a memorial thread off of the main channel. If you join the Discord, we can talk about it there, but yeah, it is a very sad thing that happened. So like I said, we've known about it. We found out like 2 days before Christmas on the Discord. That was a bit of a bombshell, let me tell you. So yeah, we missed them. They were a huge part of what we do, and their absence is notable. So my condolences. I know they didn't have a family, but to their friends and peers and colleagues, my deep condolences. It's very sad, but yeah. So anyway, that's why they're not around anymore, unfortunately. So yeah, I know. We miss Scarlett. We need you, Scar, but you know, things happen and we move on. So anyway, moving on from that, that's the sad news. Now we got some good news. What was the good news? Two good things. Two good things we're going to talk about. The first good thing is that the podcast is definitely coming back. We have a date for the first recording, and so, assuming everything works out as scheduled, the first episode of Season 2 of Pixels and Puppets... Hang on. Let me just wipe the coffee off of it. The first episode of Pixels and Puppets will be live on the feeds on the 14th. Assuming I can get it edited in time. That's a pretty much a for sure. We got it nailed down. And it's exciting. It's good. We got a lot to talk about, let me tell you, particularly on the Pixels front and also on the Puppet front. But yeah, so there we go. We got the podcast is definitely for sure, absolutely coming back. If you are not subscribed to the podcast, if, for example, you are joining us on the Owncast server and you may not know about the podcast, we have a podcast called Pixels and Puppets. Search for Pixels and Puppets on whatever your podcast distribution platform is. And you can find it, and it's there, and we talk about puppets, and we also talk about tech and gaming a lot. So it's a weird mix. It's not for everybody. Some people listen to half of it, and other people listen to all of it. It's weird. It's a whole thing. But anyway, wow, we're getting people on the Owncast server. This is great. I should check the Owncast server. Just forgive me. I'm going to be a bit weird and distracted. This is the first one back in a long time. Okay, cool, we're good. Looks like stream health is good. Do let me know, Owncast, how it looks, how it's behaving. This is all a big experiment. Owncast itself is not in full release yet, so we will see. Yeah, so Spotify, YouTube, Apple, whatever your podcast platform is, just search for Pixels and Puppets, or you can go to pixelsandpuppets.com. It will redirect you to operationpuppet.com, but that'll tell you where to get all of your podcast needs for Pixels and Puppets met. Rainy McFarlane, nice to see you. Yes, back, full on back. Looking and sounding good. Excellent, thank you, Owncast. Nervous Herman. So here's a funny thing. Okay, we're gonna get to the Owncast. Let me have some. I need more coffee. Clearly, I'm not hyper enough. It's been a while. It's been more than a month since I did one of these, so we're going. Okay, number 3 on the announcement list. We are broadcasting on Twitch, on YouTube, and our very own Owncast server. What is Owncast, you ask? Well, those of you who have been around the Discord a lot probably know that I've been fully embracing the Fediverse, and as we indicated on the last episode of The Oracle, we are going full Fediverse this year. We're also still doing all of the stuff that we have always done, but we're also including more Fediverse stuff. I have something related to puppet making. Have you ever heard of hair wefting? I have not. Let's get into that in a second. Let me finish this one first. Owncast is basically like roll your own Twitch. Right? It's a self-hosted thing. So this is literally running on a box in my living room. I do have a dedicated machine for it, so it's got enough hardware. It should be able to push things out. Demon Dreamer, hello, nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. We're getting good numbers here. I'm happy. It's always a worry, whenever a content creator takes a break, that when they come back, there's not going to be anybody here. But thankfully, y'all are here, so that's lovely. And we're talking about the Owncast server. So it is basically, like I said, it's a roll your own Twitch thing. It's my own platform. I'm streaming it. It's my own URL. And the advantage is, because of the really weird and convoluted way I've got my streaming setup going, the lag on the Owncast server is considerably less. So if you want less delay, there's almost a 30-second delay I have found out going through Restream onto Twitch and YouTube. I just saw frame drops. I hope I didn't go out of the stream. Oh well, anyway. Too late, keep going. There is, just because of the way I have it set up, since I'm not going through Restream to stream to my Owncast server, I'm streaming to that directly. There's a considerably less delay on the Owncast server. So on Owncast, you guys are getting an advantage in that you are seeing almost a full 30 seconds less delay. It's about a 5-second delay on the Owncast. It's pretty good. So, if you want to be one of the cool kids, go over to operationpuppet.live. That's it. It's easy to remember, right? Operation Puppet Live. You don't even have to think about it. You're just going. The only problem, not really a problem, but the only thing I don't like about Owncast that much is the chat system is kind of hinky and weird and half-formed. You'll see if you go there, and those of you who are on the Owncast server, you have seen this already. It basically, so there's no user accounts. And it basically just randomly assigns you a chat username, and then you can change it, and it gets saved as a browser cookie. You can also authenticate through the Fediverse. So if you've got like a Mastodon account or whatever, PixelFed or whatever, Lemmy, you can also authenticate through that. And it will be just the same every time you log in. But it's basically just a browser cookie. Now, it's not that bad. Like I can still ban IP addresses and all that kind of stuff. But it's kind of funny seeing like the weird usernames just popping up in the chat. We're gonna work on that. I am sure it's going to get better. Owncast is still in early development yet. I really like what they're doing on Owncast, so I'd like to stick with it. But this is all just part of us expanding. We're expanding our horizons and stuff. So that's it. Swedish Seth. That's hard to say, Seth. Thank you. Seth is joining us on the Owncast server as well. I will work on getting the chat unified. I can probably at least... I am not at all worried about, like, I can embed chat into the video stream even so everybody can see it, right? I didn't really ever want to do that because it clutters up the screen and stuff, but we'll see about that. There are also, like, there are webhooks into the chat and stuff. There might be a way to merge all of these chats together, which would be ideal, but we'll see. All right, we'll talk about hair wefting. Slugfan on YouTube. Hair wefting is where you take net fabric and you take some fake hair strands off Amazon. Then you take a special wefting tool. I like wefting. Wefting is a good word. And loop around a few fake hair strands and you pull the hair. So it's, yeah, okay, so it's basically like making a fake fur, like you're weaving it into the netting. That's interesting and cool. I guess it's like, that's what they do for, like prosthetics and stuff, right? Like when they're doing movie makeup and stuff. Cool. Interesting. We'll see more about that. But, I am not in practice in doing this anymore. I don't know if you can tell. But yeah, thank you all for being here. This is great. Love it. Also, speaking of the Fediverse, so we also have a PeerTube instance of our very own. That's puppet.zone. There are so many puppet.whatevers that I've actually kind of forgotten. I saw Rick Lyon do that on Instagram. I didn't know Rick Lyon was on Instagram. I should get with Rick on Instagram because Rick is an amazing, legendary puppet builder. This chat is great. I can watch the video and chat on Discord on a phone. Yep, nice. Yeah, no, the Owncast thing is still in early development, so it'll get better as time goes on. I just wanted to offer it. I just like what they're doing with Owncast. I like owning my own stuff, it turns out. I like having my own platform that I can like just use however I want. So yeah, we're going to be doing stuff, I think probably, there's going to be some stuff exclusive to Owncast. I'm still thinking about that. Maybe we'll do the Frankie Play streams on Owncast only or something. But speaking of that, Puppet.zone is our PeerTube instance, which is like the Fediverse version of YouTube-ish. That's a whole other conversation. But you can live stream to that as well. And I thought about doing that instead of Owncast. I just like what Owncast is doing. So I figure what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to live stream to Owncast, and then we will archive the live streams on PeerTube and also on YouTube, just like we always have. But that's what's going to happen. So if you're in the Fediverse, don't worry. This archive will be available on our PeerTube at puppet.zone. So there we go. Have you checked the Puppet Sunsung yet? No, I don't. Have you mentioned that before? I'm sorry if I missed that or forgot or whatever. There's been a lot. There has been a lot happening. But do tell. Okay, let's make some puppets, huh? How about that? It's going to be I gotta get going on building for the shop, obviously. Because we're still, the first few days of the new year. So I got to start making more stock. I did not make anything over the holidays, which is unfortunate. I had some health issues. I don't even want to get into it. There's a whole laundry list of things. Don't get old, I guess is what the key is. However, so I really got to get to restocking the shop. I'm starting slow because I have a bunch of stuff to take care of this month that isn't puppet building. So I'm going to have limited build time over the next few weeks. So we're starting slow, and we are starting. Let's go. Here we go. Look at how neat and tidy this all is. Can you believe it? We're making some smalls. We're just making some smalls. They say memory is the first thing to go. Yeah, well, that's about the fourth thing to go for me. But yeah, we're making some smalls. So I got some small bodies cut. We're just doing, this is not going to be exciting or revolutionary. However, if you are joining us on the Owncast, this will all be new. So, unless of course you've also joined us elsewhere. But yeah, I did a whole bunch of cleaning in the studio. I did a whole this added a new shelf rack where the computers live and everything. I am currently 3D printing, actually. We can, hang on. Oh, that didn't work. Why didn't that work? It half worked. Oh, sorry, hang on. I think I know what's going on. I test everything, I promise. I test so much. Don't grow old. Where's Peter Pan when you need him? Exactly. Okay, this might get weird because I'm going to have to switch off the regular stream for a second. I may go away. I will be back. I promise. Boom. There we go. I am not 3D printing, guys. I'm 3D printing a big old mouse plate for my live hands monsters. This might get weird. Shocking nobody says salute on Owncast. Yep. This is definitely going to get weird, let me tell you. No, I'm 3D printing a big old mouse plate. Let's see if we can do this without breaking anything. Here we go. Yeah, so I figure an ogre is going to be on the agenda for one of the upcoming builds. So this is a big old mouse plate. And it almost fills the build plate. It's that big. This is my standard live hands monster size. So that's what's going on there. There we go. Okay, good. Oh, wait, the picture-in-picture is up. Let's get rid of that. There we go. I swear, I tested everything so thoroughly, and even still. You can never test enough. That's the lesson. Joe, you got a 3D printer for Christmas. Any tips? Yeah. Wow. Nothing but tips. It really depends on what kind of printer you got, and what model, and what make. But honestly, I don't know if you're active on Discord. If you join our Discord, there's quite a few people who 3D print on the Discord. So we can get into the details more. But there's lots of good YouTube channels for tutorials and stuff. Things that you don't really learn right away that you probably should are things like always keep your filament dry. Keeping your filament dry is probably the one thing that I never really saw anybody talk about until I did the wrong thing and let it not be dry. So this is why when you get them, they're all packaged up. They often will have like a silica gel pack in there. You want to keep your, like, not just dry, but like out of the air. You need to keep the humidity away from it entirely. Otherwise, it just becomes brittle. As long as it's PLA. We're talking about PLA or most of the filaments, I think, but PLA definitely. That was the thing that I didn't really know anything about until the bad thing happened, and I got some filament that got too moist or too humid and started getting brittle, which is counterintuitive. You would think that plastic gets brittle as it dries out, and apparently not. Apparently it gets brittle as it gets moisture. So I recently got, well, I haven't even taken it out of the box yet, one of these. This is a filament dryer. And it's basically, you can set the temperature and humidity, stick your filament rolls in there, and it'll dry them out. So they're not expensive. But that was the first thing that I hadn't seen anybody talk about. So that's my first tip. Just start printing stuff and you'll learn. That's unfortunately, it's like anything else. You just got to start and make the mistakes. it's kind of hard to guide somebody from 0 to up to speed. So okay, I got to make some puppets. We use a mushroom/fruit dryer at the makerspace. Hey, see, there you go. Yeah, keep your filament dry and like extra dry. So dry that there's no moist. I don't even know. There's a joke in there somewhere, but we try to be a family-friendly stream. FYI, own cast. So, okay. So the first thing I got to do, I have my not at all patented 3D printed mouth plates here, and these have the nice brackets for the finger loops, and I've got the leather already cut for the finger loops. So the very first thing we've got to do is punch some holes in this leather and feed them through and then sew them up. So almost the first thing we're doing on the new stream back is some hand sewing. Last year I made a replica of my potty parrot from SpongeBob, and it looks just like the original marionette. Very nice. Well done. You'll love to see it. Okay, so I've got a little leather punch here, and it's actually getting quite warm in this room. I may, there's a lot of background noise, by the way. I know that the mic may, one of the reasons I'm shouting is because I got so much fan noise happening because of the 3D printer that it's kind of, it's a noisy environment. The thick Brooklyn accent. A family picture. Exactly. I love me some. I really want to take Frankie to New York and just like do videos, just walking around with Frankie talking to actual New Yorkers. I think that would be. It would either be the funniest thing ever or getting beaten up. Probably both. It's worth it. Totally worth it. Alright, so just punching a hole in each side. Oh, of course I went too far. You always go through... Listen, kid, look, Frankie's never far behind. You know what I mean? There we go. Bring a bodyguard. New York is great. I've never had a problem with New York. Never. There's more of a problem here in Toronto than I ever had in New York. Why are you not punching? Make with the punching. It's not punching. Why is there a lack of punching? Just wasn't hitting it hard enough, see? New Yorkers will point out how horrible your accent is when you pick on them and walk here. Well, this is the thing, right? The backstory of Frankie's accent is that Frankie's an 800-year-old troll, or 400. I can't even remember how old he is. He's old. He's older than New York. So Frankie didn't get his accent from the humans. Humans got it from trolls. This is the original trollish accent. That's the backstory of that. And I'm sure that won't get me beaten up at all. Yeah, they'll love it. They'll love it. I'll go down to Jim Henson's bench, and we'll just do a day there. Hang out in Central Park. What could be better than that? We'll go hang out at the Museum of the Moving Image. We'll be famous. I want to go right now. I really want to talk about this. I'm like, yeah, let's just go. I love that place. All right. So we have holes punched into the leather. And now we are going to feed them through the brackets and sew them up. Exciting stuff. I'm sure you're learning a lot. In which case, we're going to switch back to the face cam, and hey, it actually did it properly. We did videos at Comic-Con in Sweden, cosplayers who were fun to interview with a puppet. I'll bet. There's of a mix of Kermit Newsflash and the Insult Dog. Yeah, well, I think Frankie would be good at that, right? Like, that's among the things I like about Frankie is I can improv much better when I'm in character as Frankie than I ever could as me. Frankie just lives in a whole separate portion of my brain, as you may be able to tell. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna do a little health check here on the servers. 5 people on the Owncast server. That's pretty good. That's way more than I thought we'd get. I thought we'd get precisely 0, to be honest. But thank you, Owncast. Welcome. I keep saying we when I mean me because there's just me here. We, the royal we, are going to work on unifying the whole chat thing. I'm sure there's a way around it. I just need to have the time to sit down and figure out what that is. We may get janky and just like merge them both as a video feed onto the video itself. We'll see. Just so everybody can see what everybody else is saying without me having to relay it, right? That's excellent, though. I am so happy about it. I could tell you, because I put a lot of work into getting all the Fediverse stuff up and running. And to my own benefit. I mean, I have learned so much in the past month or so about self-hosting and Linux and all that stuff, and I love it. I absolutely love it, even though I know it's got limited appeal. But it isn't my thing, so I'm going to pursue it. We is right, because you got Frankie the Oracle. Yeah, exactly, right? We are Legion. Okay, so I am just feeding these in to the bracket like that. Maybe able to do a plugin that streams Owncast chat onto the screen. Oh yeah, no, that part's easy. That's kind of the last resort. I'd like it to just be on the chat because I don't really want to embed chat as a video feed. I could do that, you know, within minutes. That's easy. But I'm kind of wanting to avoid that. I would like all of the chat. I would like a chat bot like Restream.io, but Restream has no idea about Owncast. And so its chatbot is locked down to just the big platforms, right? So there's no way you could integrate that into Owncast, unfortunately, because Owncast is its own thing, right? I may do a different chat system for Owncast. We'll see. There are options, and that's the nice thing about this stuff is there are options. I need needles and threads. I'm also going to open the window. Forgive my absence on the screen here, but it's really warm in this room, so I'm gonna crack the window. I'm not gonna turn the fan on yet because we are not ready for the danger honey quite yet. Owncast, that's a little slang of our own. That is what we refer to some barge, which is contact cement, industrial strength. Nasty, dangerous stuff, so, and it looks like honey, so we call it danger honey. There you go, backstory. But what I do need is a curved needle and some thread. I don't have any thread. This is how long it's been. I don't have any thread sitting on my work table. Look, thread. Build your own chatbot. Well, that's kind of what I would need to do. Now, the thing about Owncast, the way that the chat works is it actually has webhooks that you can, like, endpoints that you can hook a chatbot into. So I just have no idea how any of that stuff works. So I would need to do a lot of learning or recruit somebody who already knows. Hey, out there in the Fediverse. I bet you somebody out there knows. Get in touch. You want to get involved? You want to be on the team for absolutely no money, but lots of prestige. I don't know. I am always open to having people help wherever they want to help. Because right now it's just me. And of course, my fellow podcast hosts, Jamie and Andrew. But yeah, stuff. So get ready for some exciting hand sewing. Look, after the After the holidays, we need a little bit of not excitement, right? I don't know about you. And I don't know why I'm still doing the accent. Whew. I'm pleased, though. I am pleased. All of this, nothing's falling over yet. This is the exciting part. We got more activity on the Owncast server. Hello. I'm just thankful that nothing is falling over. Always an option when it comes to self-hosting or, open source stuff. It's stuck. Someone hit the Kevin reset. What is stuck? What is stuck? Don't make me panic. What's stuck? I thought I said things weren't falling over. Something falling over? Yeah, I can see Owncast going. Are you just making me paranoid? Oh, my accent. Thank you. Right. Yes. I got you. I'm fine. Everything's fine. Don't panic. Stop panicking. Yeah, Kevin's a little out of practice. Oh, you should have some soothing hand sewing music. I know there is some music. I can't really hear it because if I were to turn it up loud enough for me to hear it, you'd hear it on the mic. I know I can kind of hear it in the background, but the fans are just obscuring everything. Do let me know if the audio levels are okay. As always, I thoroughly test, but you never know for sure until it goes live. Wow, did I ever say that like a Canadian? You never know that for sure. Just double check. The mouth plates are PLA. The mouth plates are PLA. These mouth plates are PLA. I do occasionally do mouth plates in TPU for the Greeblies because it's flexible. I can actually show you that in a second. I got a couple already made, ready to go for next week. So there's a little preview of next week's builds. Are going to be Greeblies. Hopefully I can get these smalls done this week. I don't know. I had planned on getting these builds started yesterday, and then when I came to look at the streaming setup, I realized I was only kind of half done. I thought I had finished it, but I didn't finish it. So I needed to do a whole bunch of stuff to get the stream in shape. So that was pretty much yesterday, which was the first day back. But you are reaping the benefits of it now, because otherwise this wouldn't be happening. You're welcome. Actually, I'm welcome. I'm very, very pleased you're all here. Good numbers. This is what we like to see. Good numbers on the first stream back. Yeah, I want to try TPU. Yeah, TPU is actually, it's not as hard as I was afraid of printing them, but it's just, you gotta go slow. It literally takes 10 hours to print one, like, top and bottom Greebly mouth plate. You gotta go really slow because it's flexible, right? So it's, the temperature, it's very low. I'm still trying to talk my wife into letting me buy a small. Well, there's currently 2 in production. But Indiescape, you know me. You're not. There's no rush. Whenever you're ready, you want one specific color, specific design. You just talk to me. We can work it out. All right, there is one. Let me show you the TPU plates while I'm between mouth plates here. This is kind of cool and also of interest to lots of folks, I'm sure. So these are TPU. So TPU is a filament, but it's flexible. It's not hard plastic. So these are really great to make mouse plates out of, because then you can do the crimity scrunches like that. So yeah, these are a bit, I had printed them a bit thicker. I actually like halved their thickness, and they still work quite well. And they've got the nice bracket built into them. So these are going to be really solid mouse plates. And I love the precision. Like they're so perfect, right? But it's good. I really like it. But like I said, this pair of these, 10 hours of printing. But you know, you just plan ahead and it's all fine. So yeah, that's how that works. But yeah, I really dig the TPU mouse plates. I wouldn't want to do anything too big in it, because you know, then it would just sort of collapse. But you don't want to do really big flexible mouse plates anyway, right? You want something that's about crimity sized, because that's what works with flexible. And we are continuing with our exciting hand sewing portion of today's entertainment. Don't worry, we're getting to the Danger Honey. Danger Honey is next. We're getting the boring stuff out of the way first. I need to do this before we glue it together, is what it comes down to. And I didn't have time to do this before the stream. My voice is already going because I haven't used it this much in a month. It's a good thing I got lozenges. A laser cut polypropylene takes a few seconds, yeah. I mean, I don't have room enough in the studio for literally anything else. I would love to get a laser cutter, but ain't happening. Zero room, less than zero room. I got stuff piled on top of other stuff. But I guess, Joe, that's the other thing about 3D printing is be patient and plan ahead, because it's slow. Even at its fastest, it's still pretty slow. So it really depends on what you want to do. Things like, you gotta learn about stuff like infill density. That's a big thing I have found for puppet building specifically, because if you want things to be strong, for example, I print these removable doll joints, which are really just a threaded rod. The close-up cam is not convenient, so we'll go with this. So, right, these are just a threaded rod with like a washer. And these just screw down like that. But I print these at like 50% infill. So that means that, like, you know, inside here is 50% plastic. There's not a lot of gaps, so they're strong. If you print these, like, it defaults usually to about 10% infill, which makes these kind of brittle. So if you were to really haul on it, you could probably break it, which you don't want to do. So depending on, like, more infill equals stronger. That's another thing I didn't really know about before I started doing all this. But these are handy and convenient. And the nice thing is, like, once you got a design down, you can, like, scale these and print these at whatever scale you need. These are scaled for smalls. These are like 20 millimeter. But of course I can just, like, literally load the model in, rescale it up to whatever diameter I need, and print however many I need. So it's great. It is very good. We like it. I know, how about, let's see if this will work. Speaking of 3D printers, instead of watching me hand sew, you can watch the printer. It's soothing. It's like ASMR for serious nerds. So I hope you all had a decent holiday, if you had holidays. Something approaching holidays. kind of did, but if you're in the Discord, you know that I had some weird problems with my eyes. Here we go. Kevin's complaining about his health again. Welcome, Owncast, to the Kevin Complains About His Health stream. I won't, but I had planned on doing a lot more prep work during the holiday downtime that I was able to get done just because I had these weird eye infections. I literally couldn't stand to look at things that involved light. It was bad. I think we've got to the bottom of it, so hopefully it won't happen again, but we will see. Checking the health of Owncast. Oh wait, that's the wrong. I got two. I got a laptop and my. Okay, Owncast is good. Owncast is healthy. With the most number of concurrent viewers I've ever had, by the way. This is the real stress test. And it looks fine. We like that. I know most of you don't care about Owncast. Wow, that was a weird noise from the printer. That was it was a big servo noise. I mean, it still sounded okay, but all of this stuff that I'm doing, all the self-hosting things, we'll talk about this a lot on the podcast. And I'm sure I'm going to bore the guys to tears with it. But it's been really cool, learning about all this stuff and how to host your own. Of course, the big Achilles heel of all of that is you need to know about security. Because I don't have many things open to the internet, but I do have a couple things by necessity. And so you gotta get real serious about securing that stuff. I have a reasonable degree of security, so. But let me tell you, you don't know until you start doing this kind of thing. When you open a port to the internet, there's just bots that just come in and probe every possible security hole. I run a service that it's called Failed-to-Ban that checks for things that are trying to ping your server too much and are suspicious and then bans them. It's scary how often and how common that is. But it happens. But, as long as you're prepared for it, there are ways to mitigate. You're never going to be completely out of the danger zone, but there are ways to minimize. For example, nothing that I have facing the internet is connected to anything that I want to keep private. So even if they do get compromised, there isn't much that anybody can get to. And that's important. Thankfully, I have enough machines and enough, nodes, as it were, that I can do that. I can compartmentalize stuff and keep it separate. So my risks are minimum, but not non-existent. But that's part of the game, right? That's part of you live and learn. And sometimes you learn the hard way. Just checking. This is the Linux machine that I'm currently running the big stream on, not the Owncast stream. Is a new install as well, so I'm just sort of keeping an eye on its health. It looks okay. Looks pretty good. I'm a little amazed nothing has fallen over yet. But hey, the power of Linux, right? So we're halfway there through the hand sewing, and then we're going to get to the danger honey, so don't worry. Exciting things are coming up. I just realized I have not checked the charge on the headset, or on the mask, the respirator mic. You may be hearing me very muffled. I guess we'll find out. I gotta think of a way to make this faster or more efficient. This seems a bit more fiddly than it needs to. Just like a rivet or something in this would solve it. I don't really want to put metal into it though. The Bane mic, yes, exactly. We are here to menace Batman in some vague, obscure accent for some reason. Seriously, Tom, what were you doing there? What was that? I mean, I'm sure Christopher Nolan told him to talk like that, but what was that? I have 2 weeks vacation, says Seth. I hope I can build something, but I also have a toddler. Yep. Things will get in the way. With me, it's usually some part of my body failing, but, you know. Let us know, Seth, how the nose goes. I'm intrigued by your Vectorform experiments. All right, one more and then we're done. I believe it was an Irish traveling people accent. Yeah, who even knows? It was a Christopher Nolan, I'm smarter than everybody else accent. I'm sorry, I'm not that much of a fan of Christopher Nolan. I also don't have that much of an opinion, so. He just strikes me as one of those filmmakers that likes to pretend they're smarter than everybody else. All right, one last one. You excited, Owncast? This is it. This is how it goes. That's another thing. I think we're gonna, or at least I would like to get back to doing some more Frankie Play streams. And we'll see about that. See where the guys are. They're always fun. Completely frivolous and silly. The Owncast folks probably don't know about Frankie Play, but you will. I'll leave that as a surprise. It's a VTuber. And not an anime cat girl. Therefore, I guess not technically a VTuber. Who even knows? Words don't mean things. All right. We're about to tie this off, and then we will get on with the build and the next exciting part. And here we go. Done. Hooray. We did it, everybody. Yay. So, all that was me stitching these leather finger loops into the brackets that are on the mouth plates, so you can get a nice little grip inside the puppet. Very handy. Handy. Never mind. Family-friendly stream. Remember that. Okay. Here we go. It's time, drum roll please, for the danger honey. So, the window is open. I'm going to turn the fan on, make sure it's pointed in the right direction. Is it? Hard to tell. There we go. Okay. Yes, it is. I had to double check because for our New Year's Eve dinner, we had a bit of an incident here in the Puppet Mines. We made some steaks and they got smoky. Not enough, thankfully, to set off the fire alarm, but it was pretty smoky in this whole apartment. So we had the fans going to vent stuff out. Okay, so for the new people on the Oancast server, this is barge contact cement. This is normally used, it's used for industrial applications, one of them being shoemaking. So this stuff is strong enough to literally hold a shoe together. So this is the good stuff. It's also not cheap, but it is also very, very toxic, and you do not want to mess with this stuff. So if you are going to use industrial strength contact cement, which you should do if you are making a professional puppet, you need to take some safety precautions. The very first safety precaution you should take is that you are in a well-ventilated environment. Can you tell I've done this before? I am in a well-ventilated environment. I have an air duct that is feeding air in from the top, and I have a window open that has a fan in it that is venting air out. So I have a constant circulation of air over my work surface. All you really need is to have an open window, and if you can, put a fan in it to push the air out. You want to just get these fumes away from you. The other thing that you should do, I wasn't always as strict with this as I should have been, but I am now, is wear a respirator. Not available in Europe. Yeah, but you got an alternative, like Weldwood, I think, is available in Europe, and Weldwood is just as good as Barge. There are lots of versions of Barge that you can get. This just happens to be what's available to me, and this is what's like super popular for North American builders. But like in Europe, there's Weldwood. I think there's Duol as well. There are other industrial strength contact cements. Other brands are available. I'm not being sponsored by Barge or anything. Anyway, yes, wear a respirator. NIOSH, I think it is NIOSH rated respirator, rated for toxic fumes. That's why I have the wireless mic on it. So I'm going to be putting this on in a second. And of course, the other thing is gloves. You don't want to get this stuff on your hands. I just noticed the picture-in-picture is, there we go. So yeah, all of those things. So I'm putting some gloves on. Is this inside out? Sometimes it's hard to tell. Let's find out. So I've done the safety spiel. I do the safety spiel every now and then because it is important. That being said, I know that a lot of new builders get intimidated, and people will tell you horror stories about this stuff. As long as you take reasonable precautions, the fact of the matter is nothing is a substitute for the good stuff. And you need the good stuff if you're going to build a professional puppet. If you're just doing hobbyist stuff, then you can use just like an off-the-shelf stuff that you go into the hardware store and buy. But if you were serious and you were building something for a professional application, then you do need the professional stuff. And there's no way around that, unfortunately. I wish there were, because I wouldn't use this stuff if I didn't have to. but I do, so I do. Okay, time to see if this mic is going to work. Let's find out. And, okay, it's on. I think it's connected. Let's find out. This is going to sound weird for a second while I put the mask on, but we'll see. We'll just see how this goes. Oh, it's extra loud. Okay, now it's okay. I can hear it. I can hear my headphones over there. Hang on. So unplug my headphones so I don't get feedback by mistake. Okay, here we go. Hopefully you can. I know it's muffled, but hopefully you can hear me because of the mic on the mask. This stuff is probably not going to open either. Oh, no, it is. This is a relatively new bottle, so or can. Tin. Tin is a much nicer word than can. We're going to go with tin. Tin. So, when you are applying industrial contact cement, the key is don't use too much. Thin, even coats. And you let it dry a little bit until it's just tacky. Don't let it dry all the way, but don't glue it when it's wet. Just want to get a little bit tacky. We'll show that in a second. But that's what we're doing. We're just going along the edges, putting down. Oh, I should have done the dart first, but oh, we'll do the dart. But you don't. Most people when they start out, they end up using too much. I still occasionally do put too much on. It's kind of easy to get too much on. The nice thing about contact cement like this is you have working time. So you let it dry until it's tacky, but then you've got like a good 5-10 minutes of just like letting it sit. You can also like reactivate it. You can pull it apart and put it back together if it's not sitting right. As the name suggests, contact cement works by contact, and it works by pressure. So you can touch pieces together, and you got to put it on both surfaces that you want to join. But you can touch the piece together and kind of get it to hold, and it won't lock in place until you really pinch it together and apply pressure. I'll show that in a second. Slightly muffled, but not unexpected given the safety gear. Yeah, as long as you can understand me, that's the important part. I actually tried putting the mic inside because I have a little lav mic that can go inside here. Let me tell you, the feedback was not good. You don't want that. Trying to get around the muffledness, but I was trying to make it sound like a stormtrooper. It didn't work. This is the first time I've done this in a month. It feels weird. I'm going to do all 4 pieces. I'm building 2 at the same time. I'm going to do all 4 pieces because, like I said, you've got working time with this, so you can do that. You can kind of prep things ahead of time. I don't know how much this is on camera. It's not too bad.
Sometimes it's hard to multitask and keep everything on camera. We're back in it. Here we go. 2024, year of the puppet. That's what we say. Excuse me. My throat's not great. Then stop talking like Frankie. That always kills my throat. No surprise. All right, so we're just gonna let that sit. And we'll do the others. What I really should have done, you'll see that there's some darts here. I really should have done the darts first, then joined those, and then done the edges. I'm just out of practice. It'll be fine the other way. It's just a little bit easier to do the darts first. It's less fiddly. You have to worry less about getting glue on yourself. But you can see why we have nicknamed this stuff Danger Honey. It looks like honey. And it's dangerous. Both things are true. A little gluing music, maestro. Okay, oh, see, I know I missed a side. I like the people dropping into the Owncast chat. That's encouraging. I'm also, so Owncast has a directory that you can like opt into being included in. So I've done that. So hopefully people are just kind of randomly finding us and going, what is this? Puppet building? What even is that? I gotta check this out. Do they mean like puppets? Like puppets? Puppets. See, now here's the thing. The Owncast server is busy enough that it's encouraging me to like solve the chat problem, right? I figured if nobody is going to use it, then there wouldn't be much point in spending time to integrate the chats. But looks like there are. Which thickness of foam are you using today? This is a 1/2 inch. I mostly use 1/2 inch. I will use 1 inch in a live hands head, particularly if it's going to use a blink mech, because it needs something to brace against. But most, like 99% of the time, I'm using 1/2 inch. I literally just ordered some more before the stream. Like I didn't realize how low I was. I hardly have any left. I'm going to need it before next week. And thankfully it was in stock. It's not always in stock. Sometimes I can go like a couple of months without being able to get any. So I gotta order a lot. Uh-oh. The mic fell off. Oh no. We'll put it here. Hopefully you can still hear me. I bet that sounded great. My apologies. I don't know. That may have redlined. Did we get too hot? Are we a little hot? This is very awkward to keep on camera and do properly, I'll have you know. These are the sacrifices I make for you. Okay, we're almost there. And here. Get all the way to the end of the dart. All right, so you see how I've got it piled up here. So the one on the top is the freshest. So that's the one that needs the most drying. We can just close this up now. So the way I'm going to do this is I just take the stack, flip it over, and we know the one on the top is now the one that's the driest. It's probably still a little too damp. So I'm going to hit it with a hairdryer just for a second now. And this is turning the heat off. So this is just cold air. That's one. Put it somewhere that won't stick. And two. Okay, so as I mentioned, I should have done just the darts first, so we're going to do that now. So we got a little dart in the top of the head, and I always do my darts when I'm turning. I always make sure that the pen marks are on the inside of the puppet. Some fleece can be sheer, and you can see the pen marks through the fleece. So you don't want that. You want to make sure that the marker is on the inside. Like that. And all I'm doing is I'm tacking it together, just gently, lining it up, letting the edges touch each other, and then once it's seated in the place that I like, then pinch it together. Apply some pressure. Now that will lock it in place. Give it a little pinch. Okay, make sure I did the right sides. They're mirrored after all. Okay. Like so. Very careful. Precision matters here. You want to try and get the edges nice and lined up, and you don't want any gaps or overlaps. You want to get it so this is one nice continuous curve. So that's that part. And now you just join the two halves together. So I'm going to start by lining up the nose. You see here, now that came apart, that's okay. Just pinch it together. And we're going to line up the bottom. Pinch that together. And then we're going to line up the darts. And you want to try and get this, like, the edges flat against each other. Here we go. You want to try and not pinch the edges too much and flatten them before you join them together. You want like two surfaces to touch each other. The more surface that touches, the better it will hold. So you can see we're just working down, flattening and pinching. And if it starts to get a little off kilter, you can just pull it apart, reseat it. It's not locked into place until you pinch. There we go. And likewise on the front. It doesn't really matter what side you do first. It might for different patterns, but for this one it doesn't. I just do whatever's facing me first. And now for this, since it's closed, I like to put a hand inside and just kind of give it a platform to brace off of. This one is to be difficult. Don't be difficult, small. Be a good small. And there we go. One small body put together. So now we just do that again. All of the fun, we're having it, all of it. There's no fun left for anybody else because we're just having it all. Yeah, that should be okay. So the way you can tell if it's dry enough, Chuck Muju, nice to see you, welcome. Yeah, it's been a while. Thank you for dropping by. The way you can tell if it's dry enough is if you touch it with your gloved hand, it'll just feel a little tacky, but you can lift it away and it won't leave residue. That's the thing. There we go. The Chuck Muju is going to think that the only thing I ever build is smalls, because I think this is what I was building on like the first Twitch stream that you were there. I build a lot of smalls, it's true. It's not all I build, as you know. All right. Smalls are popular. They sell well. Of course I build them. Well, that's it too, right? And they're also easy to make. Well, easy-ish. None of this is easy. But it's not like a blink neck monster or anything, right? They're simple. And I like simple. I prefer simple to not simple. And let's face it, they're freaking cute. So, who doesn't love that? Even I think they're cute. Which is ironic because I didn't really intend them to be quite as cute as they ended up. I always wanted them to be a little bit creepy. And they ended up just being cute. So I just let them be what they want to be. It's a life lesson for us all. All right, there we go. There we go, 2 small bodies, so now mouth plates. Hooray! More danger, honey. Wait 1 second, before I open this, I'm gonna try and put the mic back. My mic fell off.
Oh, hey, suddenly he's not muffled. Clip on there and please stay on this time. I'm sure this sounds great and I apologize.
All right. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, that looks all right. According to the meter, there's so much noise on the mic, I can see how much the fan noise is coming through. It's a very I don't have a noise gate because I always think noise gates sound worse than they are. Not a fan of the noise gate, to be honest. All right, so for putting in the mouth plates, pretty much the same thing. Just put glue on the edges of the mouth. Go. Another one. Go. I put a little too much glue on this side. You can see it. It's a little too thick. I'm gonna have to dry that extra long. See, even happens to me. Even me. Not you, Kevin. I thought you said you were a professional. Even the professionals make mistakes. Like I often say, the only difference between a professional and an amateur is when the mistakes happen, a professional knows what to do because they've made the mistakes already. And that's it. These aren't going to air dry as long, so I am going to hit them with the hair dryer for a bit longer. There's one noise that the 3D printer makes every now and then, and it sounds very much like R2-D2, and it makes me happy. All right, hair dryer time. Veg, good drive. All right, and now these, gotta be a little more careful with these because I don't want to get glue everywhere. All right, so little note here. So these are top and bottom mouth plates. Now, the mouth on a small, and depending on how your pattern is made, yours may be like this too. The top and bottom jaws are about the same length, but the mouth plates are different. The top one, in this case, is, you can see, taller than the bottom. So if you put the tall plate on the top, it'll have an overbite. And if you put the tall plate on the bottom, it'll have an underbite. Simple as that. I'm going to go for overbites for both of these because that tends to be the more common. Let's do this one first. This, you got to be kind of careful and lay this in nice and even. Try and line up the center line. There we go. There's one. There's going to be a gap that's intentional. I promise I meant to do that. And there we go. Oh, one and small. La 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 la. And now, to do the exact same thing again. I love doing the exact same thing over and over again. Who doesn't love that? One nice thing I like about these 3D printed mouth plates is they've got a bit of thickness to them. And so you can put glue on the edge and then get this nice and kind of laid in, like it's a very clean line. I like that a lot. You can glue it and fold it over right to the edge, and it's really nice. Who doesn't love a nice clean mouth line? You can fill in your own joke there. All right, here we go. We have, it's hard to do with the gloves on. No, 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 no. Two smalls. Ready to go, ready for skin. So that means now, okay, the barge is closed, I can take the mask off. Oh, and turn the mic off. Hey, the mic lived. And I have big, weird red marks on my face. Which is exactly why you should do this on camera. Gloves come off. Ugh. It gets a bit clammy in there. Let's go here. So that was oh no. What happened? Why? Wow. Did this get bumped or something? What's going on? Hey, look at it. Unfortunately, there's no autofocus on this. I gotta manually focus this camera. How's that? How's that? Hey, wow. That happened. I have no idea how that happened. Nothing touched that camera. Oh, well, the ghost. So, that's all I had planned for today because I thought, this is the first stream back after over a month, and with the Owncast server brand new and all these new moving parts, and it's a new install for the streaming software. There's a lot of new stuff getting its first run today. So I thought, let's not complicate things. Let's just do something simple that that I know probably won't fail because the technical stuff may fail, and it didn't. So far, it's fine. Let's actually look at the Owncast server here. Some possible latency issues on Owncast. We'll see. Let me know if you've been watching the Owncast server. Let me know how it's been. This is all a work in progress. I might be able to throw some more hardware at Owncast. We'll see. But yeah, here we go. So that's all I had planned. It's going to be cutting. So we usually, for the new folks, we usually go about 2 hours. So from 11 to 1 p.m. Eastern time. But I mean, the next thing to do is to make the skins for these, and that's a whole big complicated process that I may not get to. 14 people watching on combined Twitch and YouTube. I don't want to end the stream with 14 people watching. That's a lot of people. For me, that's a lot of people. So I don't know, maybe, well, I know, here's one thing we can do. I can drink my coffee and we can chat. Which is always exciting to watch on a stream about puppet building. I'm gonna have a lozenge because I've been talking a lot. And I can decide on what colors.
because I have a very limited selection of fleece. I gotta get some more fleece, but before I get the fleece, I have to sell some puppets so I can afford to get the fleece. So we gotta make these with whatever's in stock. So let's have a look at what's in stock. I got. So these are the two I had kind of picked out. I got some blue, light blue. So this is all Nyla fleece. This is from Weird Kids store. So this is the nice stuff. This is the stuff I really like. It's got the texture. And I got this light orange as well. There's enough of these. And that's the other thing. Smalls actually take up a fair amount of fleece each. Like smalls take up more fleece than a Greebly does. Assuming that I'm doing the Greebly with fur. So these are probably what I'm going to go with, but we also have we got a bunch of black. I mean, we could do another bat small, Chocmuju. Chocmuju owns a bat small. It's not even Halloween. This is darker orange. I was going to save this for the Greeblies next week, and I think I'm still inclined to do that because I have some fur that will complement this, and I like this dark orange. This is almost an Ernie kind of color, so I think I'm going to save that for the Greeblies next week. We also have two different pinks. This is polar fleece. This isn't Nyla fleece, but it'll still do just fine. This stuff's good and stretchy too. A pink small is kind of weird though. A pink small, I have done pink smalls before, but they got this weird fleshiness to them, right? So, which is kind of good because, like I said, I wanted the smalls to be a bit creepy at first. So the first time I did a pink small, I actually did it with these little tiny fangs. So it was what looked like a naked mole rat. It was what I was going for, and it was cute and disturbing at the same time, and that's what I wanted for the smalls. So maybe we'll do a pink one. I don't know. Do another naked mole rat small. It's not the season for that, right? Then again, a wee bit on the creepy side. Yeah, they're just that a little bit of like, I don't know. It doesn't feel. It feels like I should save that for Halloween, you know. But as we say around here, Halloween is every day. And the other option is I got a bunch of green, and this is probably, I think this is the last of my frog green. Yes, that frog. So I may save this for a Greebly. I think the Greeblies next week we're gonna do the Greeblies and the orange and the green, because there are no Greeblies currently for sale. There is one small up for sale, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. But I think we want to save this. This is the last of the good stuff here, so we'll save it for the Greeblies. And I think, yeah, we're going to go with the original plan of the blue and the light orange for these smalls. Now, the interesting thing here is going to be, I'm not sure. It's always spooky season. Say, you know, Chocmuju gets me. So the way that the skins work for the smalls is it's really all just a big single piece. And I may actually have to do the lower sleeve as a separate piece for these, because I'm not sure I have enough continuous surface on either of these to do it as a single piece. So I'm probably going to have to do the lower sleeve separately, because you got to pay attention to the direction of the stretch as well, right? So I think that's what's going to have to happen there. And that's going to be a bit fiddly, so I don't really want to get into that right now on stream. What about the orange? Can we do the orange? Let's find out. That's what we'll do. We'll find out if F around and find out if we are going to be able to do this as a single piece or as the bottom sleeve separate piece. So this is doubled up, right? So there's two thicknesses. That's important. This is the netting side, and this is the fabric side. So we're doing it inside out. This might be okay though. It seems like it might be tall enough. Let's see. I am going to show a pattern on stream, but hey, this is for the new folks. We can talk about this. We're going to do the whole turn the chair around backwards and have a serious chat. Those of you who have been here before know all about this, but there's probably a bunch of new people. So, professional puppet builders work hard to make patterns and to come up with designs. If you're new, I know there's a big temptation to just like get all of the patterns that you can, and I understand that. If some people put patterns up for free, and if so, by all means, use those. But please don't just like screen capture people's patterns or like just try and like copy other people's patterns without their consent. It is literally just ripping them off. And also their design work, right? I've had somebody copy my design work before, and it was terrible. It was not a good feeling. And there also isn't much you can do about it, right? So all I'm saying is just don't do it. You don't need to do it. I have a whole series about how to make your own patterns from scratch on PeerTube, on YouTube. It's up there in the archives. You can find it very easily. It's just don't do it. I gotta say this a lot because it has happened to me, and it's not a good thing. We try and keep the puppet world nice and friendly, so just don't rip people off. It's that simple. Anyway, let's get that out of the way. I am about to show a pattern on stream. Please don't copy it. That's all I got to say. You can draw your own, make your own based on this idea, but just don't copy this, right? That's all we're saying. We, the royal we again. Okay, good. This is, I actually should make a better or newer version of these, because these are my originals and they're all beaten up. But this is how I do so this is the foam pattern for the small. As you can see, foam. And for the fleece, all I do is I add the lip onto the inside. That's why I got these arrows here to remind me. And I just added this little extra bit onto the bottom that I can just sort of move around. And this is the lower sleeve. So clearly already we can see, yes, I can do the orange one as a single piece. So let's go on and do that. The other thing you have to make sure, for the new folks, all stretchy fabric, fleece particularly, has a direction. There's always a nap to fur or even any kind of netted material, any kind of fabric that's stretchy. Will always have a direction that it's more stretchy in one direction than the other. And you need to pay attention to that because you want the stretch to go across laterally, kind of at 90-degree angles to gravity is basically what it is. You don't want to stretch vertically, you want it to stretch horizontally. So you do have to pay attention. So you can just tell, you can just grab it. You can even see it. I know you can't see it on camera, but there is like a grain that's in the fabric and you can just see that this is going up and down. So that means the stretch will be going this way, which is correct. But you can just take it and like stretch it and go, okay, that way it's pretty stretchy. This way, not nearly as stretchy. So we know that the stretch is going across. So that's what we want. That's good. And for drawing the pattern, if you have or can get some air dry markers that are for fabric that will like disappear, that's good because you don't want pen marks. That's a big thing. I don't currently have any functional air dry markers. So I just draw in a color that's really close to my pattern, and that's usually fine. Now, because this is doubled up, we only have to draw this once. And then I'll show you how we're gonna pin it. So right now, we're just gonna draw the pattern as is. I got something underneath there, you don't want that. Yeah, make sure everything is nice and flat. So just carefully mark your pattern. Hopefully this is drawing. Sometimes it's hard to tell. And I am going to be sewing this on a machine, so we're going to add a seam allowance when we're done all this. How well is that drawing? That's pretty good. Sometimes because this fabric is thick and it could snag onto the marker, you want to get this as accurate as you can. Precision does count. I really should use pattern weights. They're just little weights you can put on the pattern to keep it all flat. But I don't. I say that every time too, and I still never got any pattern weights. I just hold it down with my hand. Thankfully, with this particular pattern, accuracy isn't as important. It's okay to have some wobbliness. All right. So now, as you can see, because of the way this is, I can actually just not have that be like that. But anyway, this is just easy to eyeball. You just join this together. So the darts I always sew by hand, because darts on a machine I've never been able to do them properly. So we're not going to add a seam allowance onto the darts. So this one and this one. The first thing I'm going to do is add about 1/4 inch onto the mouth, so that'll create the lip. And you can, obviously, if you want to use a ruler, go ahead and use a ruler. I am so used to this, I just eyeball it. Right, so that's that. Now we're going to add a seam allowance onto the front and the back. And then once again, I eyeball it. You want about 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch. The machine made that weird R2-D2 noise again. You can use a seam gauge. You can use one of these, and you can just mark. If you want to get really precise, this gets trimmed off anyway, so I don't really worry about it. It's as long as you've got enough, then that's all you need. So once you get your seam allowances drawn in, then you pin it. You got to make sure that you're careful to not let the fabric shift around until you start pinning it, at which time it won't shift around because you've pinned it. Funny how that works. Okay. Pins. We need some pins. Look, pins. I'm going to stand up so I'm going to be, you can admire my shirt. So the more pins you use, the better. Because the objective is to not have, because this fabric is all thick and plushy, it's going to want to slide around. And you want to try and prevent that. And the way to prevent that is more pins. I try to be careful and not have the tip of the pin poking out. So I go through both halves, and then the very last bit is just through the top. So the point is actually sandwiched between the two halves. I just find I poke myself with the pin less if I do it like that. Is my big stupid head in the frame? It kind of is. Sorry. Just realized where the camera was. I got to stand up to do this. So. It's also good if you're pinning to sort of start at opposite ends and work towards each other, because otherwise you might be stretching a little bit as you work down and you're going to distort it. So it's good to It's good to avoid that. Evenly distribute the pinning load. I don't actually have to stand up for this, I don't think. Let's see. I just like to. Makes me feel like I'm doing real work. So the earliest version of Mickey Mouse is in the public domain now. As if you didn't know. If you exist on the internet, I assume you know that by now. Have kind of half thought about making a Steamboat Willie puppet for sale. And I don't really want to. It's not really my thing. I would only be doing it for the money, and I don't like to just do it for the money. Curse me and my principles. The internet's going wild over it too, yeah. I'm sure I have fellow puppet builders who are all over it, and you'll see plenty of Steamboat Willie puppets coming up. I would be very surprised if Justin from Uzzy Works isn't currently working on one. Shout out Justin. I don't know if Justin ever watches these streams. Justin's good people. Justin did the artwork for the Frankie Play avatar. Because I can't draw. Okay, I'm just going to put... Blah. Don't really need to pin this part because it's the mouth and it should be open, but I just like to keep everything as stable and steady as I can. There we go. So now we're going to cut it out. Scissors. Always keep one good pair of scissors for fabric and nothing else. These are not cheap scissors. You need good sharp scissors for your fabric. I am going to have to stand up to do this. So I know you can kind of see it. Long, even strokes. Try not to get little jagged edges. This goes in the scrap bin where my cat sleeps when I let him, when I don't realize what he's doing. He's like, anybody seen Jimmy for a while? Oh, Jimmy's asleep in the scrap bin again. Loves the scrap bin. He won't sleep in the cat bed, but he will sleep in the scrap bin. Dax, my other cat, barely ever comes into this room. So she doesn't. At some point, new people, you'll probably meet at least Jimmy. Because whenever I have the door open to the shop, Jimmy does tend to wander in. I'm going to cut this rough here so I can cut the mouth part out and the dart here evenly. Just get rid of that. We're going to cut the dart. That and the mouth. Oh, see, I just stuck myself. Believe me, I get used to it. And there we go, ready to go on the machine. Which I don't know if I want to pull it. What time is it now? How much time did we kill? 12:50. Okay, you know what? That's good enough. I did more than I planned on. So I think we're probably good. We done gone and done it, folks. Thank you for joining me on the extremely pedestrian, triumphant return to the Build Streams. Owncast seems meh. We'll see. I'll look at the logs and see if we can. There may have been some playback issues, but we'll see. Yeah, I just want to look at it. Okay, no, it's still going. It's still going. I can see it. Yeah, good. So anyway, thank you everybody. I'm gonna go and have some lunch as usual and stuff. So this is something that I do almost every week. Should be okay for next week. I will post about it on for those of you on the Fediverse. I'll post about it on Mastodon. I will post about it on the Discord. If you are in the Discord, join the Discord. All of the links are at operationpuppet.com. The PeerTube server is puppet.zone. The Owncast is puppet operationpuppet.live. I can't even remember. I should just put a thing that I can just hear all the links. Anyway, all the links are here. Just go to operationpuppet.com. That's the only link you need. And everything is there. Okay, I'm gonna sign off now. We almost got 2 hours in, so that's good enough. According to this, I just started a few minutes early, so you know what? You're good. We got the 2 hours. I'm calling it 2 hours. So there we go. First stream done. Thank you, everybody. Podcast coming up. Join the Discord, etc. Stay tuned. Join all of the links, all of the things, social media, etc. Okay, I'm gonna hit the Owncast server to go offline first, and then I'll hit the regular stream. So anyway, thank you. I hope I will see you next week, and have a good rest of your week.